DJI has become synonymous with quality drones and gimbals, whether it be professional or consumer use. And finally, we have a gimbal that will be more accessible to consumers. This is William from Wink Tech, and in this video I'll be talking about DJI's latest phone gimbal, the Osmo Mobile 2. My first taste of stabilized footage from a smartphone was at school for a movie project. I filmed the entire movie on the Osmo, and after using it I just had to get one. Another factor that contributed to my purchase of the Osmo was the low price tag relative to the first generation Osmo. The first Osmo cost $300 while the Osmo 2 cost just $130. This new price tag makes the Osmo more widely available to consumers and is more likely to motivate people to buy it than its predecessor. For those of you who don't know exactly what an Osmo does, it is a phone gimbal which is used to stabilize your video footage. Stabilizing your video can help you get more creative with your shots as well as get more cinematic video. Of course, it also greatly reduces shake in your video. For features, the Osmo has quite a few when you use the DJI Go App. But before I talk about that, I want to address the worst part of the Osmo Mobile 2. The DJI Go App is one of the worst camera apps I've ever used. It crashes nearly every time I try recording on the app, and even when I do record, there could be some skipped frames, which is really bad because you can't get those back. There are also some instances where my footage doesn't even get saved to my phone, which is a nightmare for video creators. We know what the Osmo does, but who is it for? Well, for the regular person it doesn't really make sense, since most phones these days have built-in optical image stabilization. And most people don't take a large amount of video unless it's for social media such as Snapchat or Instagram. For YouTubers such as myself who can't afford expensive video equipment but still want a great tool for making video, the Osmo is one of the most versatile and inexpensive options out there. The Osmo is also great for people who want to jump into the world of videography and just want to use their phone. Overall, the Osmo is a great way to improve the video coming out of your smartphone that doesn't break the bank. When paired with a manual camera app and even some lenses, you could get footage out of this phone that you didn't even think was possible. Okay, now that we know what the Osmo is and what it's for, let's talk about some of the great features that come with the Osmo. First of all, the Osmo has different stabilization modes. The first one is called Follow. This mode allows you to point the camera in any direction you desire, and the Osmo gimbal will follow your movements. This mode is helpful for manually tracking a subject or moving around. Here's an example of some footage using the Follow mode. The second mode is Lock. This mode will lock your phone in place so no matter where you move your hand, the gimbal stays focused on where your phone camera is pointed. This mode is extremely helpful for locking onto a subject that isn't moving or for moving shots with a constant angle. Here's an example of some footage using the lock mode. Finally, I want to talk about the best gimbal position, which is more of a tip than a feature. It's called flashlight position because you hold the gimbal like it's a flashlight. You can get this position by locking the gimbal, moving the handle 90 degrees, and unlocking it. This position is good for a variety of shots and especially tracking shots. Additionally, you can use the same method to hold the handle upside down to get low shots to the ground. When you get really familiar with the different camera angles and gimbal positions, you can get really creative with your shots. Another big selling point with the Osmo Mobile 2 is the ability to rotate the part that holds the phone in order to record stabilized footage in portrait orientation. This feature is great for stuff like Snapchat, Instagram live streams, and for charging your phone while recording. Although I don't really use it that much, the ability to record in portrait is a welcome feature that I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy. Now I will talk about the software features in the DJI Go app. As I've mentioned before, the app is quite buggy and I have a hard time getting it to work. However, your experience may vary. One of my personal favorite features is Active Track, which allows you to draw a box around a subject and the Osmo will do its best to track that object automatically. This feature isn't perfect and can sometimes lose the subject, but when it works, it is amazing. I could especially see this feature being good for vloggers. Some other nice features is Motionlapse and Hyperlapse. Motionlapse is a time lapse where you can set the Osmo to automatically pan in a direction while taking a time lapse. It gives a very cinematic effect and allows you to see more of the setting where you're shooting, which is also nice. Hyperlapse is a little different. It is also time-lapse, but instead of the Osmo being static on a tripod, you can draw a box around your subject and then you can move around the subject while the Osmo keeps it in center frame. Hyperlapse also gives a very cool effect because you can start far away from a subject and then slowly move closer to it. The Osmo Mobile 2 has a variety of great features as well as a reasonable price. But what else differentiates the Osmo from its predecessor and even competitor gimbals? Well, for starters, it has good build quality for the price. It uses a magnesium frame and a matte plastic finish with a textured grip on the outside, which all contributes to its lightness. The Osmo also has some very useful additions, such as the threaded tripod mount at the bottom and the USB port for plugging in your phone during a live stream. The Osmo Mobile 2 is also widely available and is carried in most electronic stores and Amazon, where it occasionally goes on sale. So that's it for my review of the Osmo Mobile 2. What do you think? Do you need a phone gimbal just for fun, or do you want to get more serious about your video? The Osmo is great for both of those things, and I don't think you'll be disappointed, especially for only $130. Let me know in the comments below if you have a phone gimbal or want to get one. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more reviews like this one. Anyway, this has been William from WinkTech, and I'll see you in the next video.